All right, it is 7 PM on Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. 7 PM, I think. We're gonna open the administrative board meeting. Roll call, please.
Yep, I have trustees Chris Sample,
Here.
John Talbot,
Here.
William Luxinger,
Here.
Nathan Maz,
Here.
Jen Christensen, here, Bill Motisi,
Here.
President Rick Worm,
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onabany,
Here.
Clerk Sandy Mazen here, Public Works Supervisor Brett Berge,
Here.
Attorney David Silverman,
Here.
Engineer Matt Hanson,
Here.
full house.
Tonight on the consent agenda, we have 3 items. Item number 1 is the March 28th, 2023 administrative board minutes. Item 2, bills payable warrant list dated April 25th, 2023 for a total of $353,643.91. And item 3, outside meeting pay for elected officials, total of $200. At this time, do any of the board members wish to remove any of those 3 items from the consent agenda for further discussion? Entertain the first motion.
I move to place agenda items 1, 2, and 3 inclusively as consent agenda items. Further, I move that all items be considered together as a consent agenda.
Second.
Jen makes a motion to place items 1, 2, and 3 inclusively as a consent agenda. Nathan seconds. Roll call vote, please.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William.
Yes.
This is 7:02. Second motion.
I move to adopt items 1, 2, and 3 inclusively on the consent agenda in a single group pursuant to the municipal procedures specified in the Illinois Municipal Code.
Second.
Jen makes a motion to adopt items 1, 2, and 3 inclusively. The consent agenda. Nathan seconds. Roll call vote, please.
Bill,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
That also passes 7:02. We do not need item C as there were no items removed from the consent agenda. So we'll move on to reports of the officer. Under me are the fuel report and water report. Anybody have any questions on either? We'll move on to the clerk.
In your board packet, you'll see there's a FOIA report. You will see that I currently have 2 outstanding pending FOIAs. Ansel Blink is assisting me with both of them, so we'll answer them and you'll see the completion date on the next one. Also, I at Lobby Day last week got to go down and meet with the governor and have this awesome proclamation signed by the state of Illinois declaring next week Municipal Clerks Week. So from April 30th to May 6th is recognition of all the work that the clerks do in the state of Illinois. So I will pat myself on the back.
I will do it for you. Congratulations.
I didn't ask about that. I met with and representatives of Tony.
Wrong part of the state.
I did meet with Tony McCollum. I do enjoy talking to her. That was it. So that was, I feel like Lobby Day went well.
All right. Treasurer and Brenda.
In the board packet is the treasurer's report for March. And also on the 13th, I went to that Ogle County Economic Development meeting. Basically, they had a speaker to talk about getting everybody together to be their own economic development partnership. Nothing was really accomplished, like out of their whole agenda of 9 things. That was the only thing that they talked about. So that's it. It was really nothing was accomplished at that except for the speaker talk for 2 hours about his business, basically. That's all I have for now.
Well, thanks for going.
You're welcome.
David.
I'd like the flag.
Okay, do you want me to take these in order? Or do we want to wait on the first 2?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Do you want me to take these in order or do you want me to wait on the first 2?
Wait on the first two.
Okay, that's
fine.
Executive
Yeah, that's fine. All right, so let's talk about the license agreement with Stillman Valley. Obviously, because of certain weather-related events, the agreement we have with Stillman Valley Junior Tackle cannot be fully performed. Some of the structures that they were using for their programs, concessions and whatnot, were destroyed in the tornado. So in a situation like this where it's practically impossible through no fault of the parties to do something, you can proceed to mutually agree to leave the contract or adjust the contract terms to what can still be done under it. You may also, of course, have the option of rebuilding the destroyed structures and tolling the agreement term for a certain period of time while those structures are being reconstructed, and continuing to proceed as you have. So there's really just decision points that you have to make. Now, if we do decide to terminate, there is a 90-day notice requirement that we'll have to follow per the terms of our agreement with them. But that's your situation right now. Through no fault of either party, of course, the terms of the agreement have been frustrated.
You want to follow up on your conversation with Brad?
Conversation with Brad, Nate Hill and I met with him, basically told him that, you know, whether we rebuild the broadcast booth or
Press box.
press box, there you go, that's what we're looking for. Press box, or whether what we do out there, will be sometime coming. I mean, Nate sort of talked about putting in covered shelters instead, on those same locations, so it'll be something the board will have to decide what they're gonna do down the road. The other thing is that they can't rebuild the shed that's gone as well, because it's the whole idea of putting private property on public land is just got way too many problems. And I even told them that the other shed eventually will have to go. Someday it will have to go, but they currently do have an agreement that allows them to maintain it and keep it. So that's where our conversation really ended with that.
Here's kind of where I'm at, and these are the concerns in which I started the discussions with Dan and David, is the village doesn't know what we want to do, but I do think that the board has been pretty clear that whatever goes back there will be village owned, not owned by Stillman Valley Junior Tackle. And so that being said, I think the correct move that I obviously have no vote in would be to terminate the agreement that we have with them currently and then renegotiate for if you guys want to leave what's there. But I feel like it's best to start as a clean slate because we can't build on something that is currently under the terms of another licensing agreement. I feel like it's just a clean slate to just start all over again. Those are my 2 cents.
I just think until we decide what we're going to do out there, I mean, they're already under the notifications, they can't rebuild. It's not gonna happen. Until we decide what we're gonna do out there, we don't try to negotiate their agreement. Wait till we figure out what we wanna do.
Oh, agreed. I'm not saying doing that anytime soon, but I don't know that we have 90 days in which we have to terminate
Right.
it anyway, but I think that we need to narrow down the scope because it sounds like they're under the understanding that the press box area is no longer included. Currently, their licensing includes that area.
The other item on there that we discussed was the tackle vendor. There will be
Yes,
a-
Hansworth.
there will be a waiver or liability waiver for us to move them out of the play area when the season's over. We'll bring them back for them. They're back out on lot 5 when they're not using them. So we want a waiver from them for any damage that's done to them during movement or during stores that it's not on us, that they understand we're moving them and we will do our best, but we're not responsible for any damage. Since they.
This is only on the agenda for discussion, so we're not making any action
No.
tonight, but I do need to know what direction you guys want to move so I can work forward. Which way you want to go forward so I can work with Hansel Link on what the next step is.
Have we gotten word from the insurance company?
They came out.
I mean,
I haven't addressed those items yet.
we will be compensated under our policy for that structure as well as everything else, right?
It's some dollar amount. If we don't rebuild, then it could be, appreciation values and things
Sure.
like that. So it'll be something.
Well, we
But
find
not
out what
replacement
we
value.
can't, there's no way we could build back there. If we built something and we had it set up for broadcasting, a ladder going up through a hole in the floor isn't ever going to work again. You have something that meets code in every way.
Mhm.
So, but that wouldn't be from them building it, it would be from us building it. But that, you know, I'll talk to Nate about if they do, when we do get to that point where we start looking at, are we gonna put up a shelter? Are we gonna put up a new booth? Get the sports involved, find out what they could use, find out what, not to do everything they want to do, but at least get their. That'll be you though.
All sports, soccer and football, all of
Yeah.
Yes, all
I mean,
soccer,
If
football.
we did it
Right.
effectively, you could put some type of lookout tower up there that would be conducive to multiple sports going on at the same time. So that way we can be more of an epicenter for all inclusive sports to be out there. You know,
That's how we
soccer can
want
be going on at the same time as football. Someone can be talking both ways, you know, like you can have one speaker going one way and the other speaker going the other way, and everybody can complain about the bleed over, you know, that happens. So, I think that moving forward with a relationship of some type is the best option. Obviously, it sounds like the easiest option is going to be potentially starting over agreement, which is not ending it. It's just starting over fresh and new, right? For whatever we're going to offer or potentially offer it at each stage of the contract, right? So are we looking at being able to get them back out there this fall, this late
Iffy
summer?
Because of the glass is the big issue. He went out there, I mean, even with the nails they keep finding, and screws they keep finding out there.
Right, I mean, it scares the heck out of me. I mean, the whole area, in my opinion, can almost be scalped and redone. Like,
Well,
I don't know how you could effectively get all that out, and
That's
soccer slides and football pads don't protect against glass and nails.
That's
so-
what Nate's plan has been, is he's scalped the yard, the long way down. He's looking for either renting a vacuum or one of the lawn brooms or both. One of the rotary brushes, and then plans on going out before the season and actually put down like a 1/2 inch layer on top of what's out there. So anything that would be residual will be buried.
And that should take, I mean,
But soccer wants to use the thing soon,
right,
and so we're holding them off. That's gonna be the biggest one. We're gonna hold off. Football's far enough away that it probably won't affect them much, but it may, depends if we keep finding glass.
right. Well, obviously, I mean, safety is number one concern here. I mean, we don't
They're the
want,
safety.
we don't need one of the residents or non-residents,
Another.
Right.
yeah, having an insurance issue, yeah.
We don't want that.
No,
Something to check with Nate is,
You know, and anything that goes back in there would, you know, tempered glass.
well, I know, and with everything that's going on with the pond project right now, or at least the park project as a whole, I mean, is there a way to? It doesn't make a lot of room to move it or do something else right now either. So, I mean, is there a way to work this in or add this on to the
You'll
contract?
see that
That's-
they've been, soccer has been playing over in lots 3 and 4
Mhm.
over there. That's the best we can do.
He's keeping it closed.
Right, I
And
mean,
it was
yeah.
one of the ball, there's the
Should be.
ball fields too.
Yeah.
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 well, with the OSLAD, is OSLAD, is that? right?
Osland.
Yeah, with that grant, that we eventually, hopefully will take advantage of, you know, maybe there's something that could be done for both the fields and the
Right.
press box or whatever it is that.
I don't know.
Well, that'd be future,
Because
but
we had to submit a plan in order to
Right,
receive.
but that is
grant.
something we can talk with,
Yeah,
you know, ask Nate or the architecture firm.
well, and I mean, I don't know why we couldn't do something in stages with the park itself, you know, we can work into each level of whatever we're doing out there and the park project, as the park project progresses, we add, you know, if we want to do a lookout tower or we want to do stadium stands or I don't know, whatever we want to do later in the future, we could add on to the park project, but do, you know, get it safe to work and allow it to be workable because these, I don't know that they really have another area to go to right now.
I think we're currently practicing over in Stillman Valley.
The soccer teams.
The football. Football is scheduled, I believe, to start.
Oh, for the high school, you mean
I
that's,
don't know if they've been there. with this-
no,
No, they're
the,
not practicing.
no, they're high school. I don't, no one would be practicing. right now.
Nate,
They don't
so
practice for a while.
I
Baseball.
misspoke by saying they've started practice.
Okay.
Nate's already talked to them about, a location for practices for them.
I
And
said,
I believe that they were
practice.
the school district to find something over there to assist them because they do start practices, the end of May, beginning of June.
No,
No,
it's no.
July.
I know it's all summer.
Yeah.
That's all I.
Well,
know.
soccer
No,
soccer starts sooner, I think, with the.
Soccer's already going.
You'll be
Well,
moving
it's
to parks
Spring
in
soccer though.
May, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, all right.
anyway, but circling back to. what
Just
we
for
need
that.
For tonight, we just need some direction as to what we're doing with their licensing agreement and how we want to move forward, because it is gonna take 3 months just to terminate it, and then how many long after that, in which to figure out what it is where we need to be. I still stick with, I think.
Personally, I'd like to terminate and work as fast as we can of the solution to get them back on a field and an agreement and involved with them right away.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
There's your direction.
William,
Though I won't be around for it, that press box was built by community members on their donated time and material. I think doing nothing would be a disservice to them and the ones that are still vested in the community. Now, I will say this, I think this is the opportune time to build exactly what needs to be built, i.e. bathrooms,
Yes,
garage,
That's-
storage, concessions. However, that's gonna
that's
be
the
pricey.
conversation I had, but to do that is gonna.
I think
cost a lot
we
of
go to the original concept that we had, which was ground level storage for football,
Yep.
soccer. They have their own individual cages,
money. Right, we own it, they use it.
correct?
just for the record, I want to clarify that the Village of Davis Junction put all new windows in and all new siding on that,
I
on
know.
our labor and our time and.
I
To
remember.
the total about
But
$13,000.
Again, this is why we want the sports involved and to
Sure.
decide how we're gonna do that.
The village owned it, absolutely. It was our property. We owned it. That's why it's under our policy. We're going to receive the claim. I totally agree. We did the rehab of the building. I'm well aware. But I think it would be an opportune time to build it correctly. I don't necessarily think,
If you rebuild it.
I don't necessarily know if I would do a 2-story.
They were talking even possibly just a 1-story with like a sun deck on top where they get up above, because they want to be above the crowd to be able to call the games.
They could grill up there then too and some other things.
Yeah, let's not do that.
You need
Let's not have-
sprinklers and
That's a
everything.
great
Fall off the top.
Well, they grill out the floor out. You let it.
Well, the whole thing is,
Charcoal.
William was saying with the bathrooms, you also need better power out there. It needs a lot of things. That would be better.
I think the opportune time to do that would be in conjunction with a new village hall on lot 1.
Oh, I love that idea.
And
I actually do.
what's that?
I think that would be the opportune time
We,
to
I
wrap
said
into
we
one project.
we spend a lot of money on porta pots for sports.
Mhm.
That could be
Oh, absolutely.
absorbed by just having the bathrooms out there.
Did you want to donate money?
I got $20, I think. Listen, we
Frank,
can,
that's not gonna go.
I'll tell you what, let's circle back around to this conversation after I get through my report.
All right. That's good with me.
Ask him in 4 weeks what he thinks.
Or next week.
Next week. Ask him next week what he thinks.
Maybe there's some more solar that wants to invest in our community.
All right.
That being said, do you need formal action at some point on an agenda?
Yeah,
Do you want to draft something?
we'll draft something. I don't think so because we're just gonna prepare the 90-day termination letter.
And we can always ratify those actions on the 9th if we need to.
All right, here's your direction. Anything further, David?
Not at this time.
Matt?
Correct. Project status, page 1, Junction Way Street reconstruction. Bill's started that design work, so as soon as he gets far enough along, I'm sure he's gonna schedule a meeting with Chris and Brett to review. Had the bid open, I think it's on the agenda tonight to award for Helm Silvels for the seal coating project. If it gets awarded tonight, then I think Dale said the 8-day protest period and stuff that goes along with the NFT funds ends Thursday, so they can get the contract out to Helm on Friday. You awarded the sidewalk replacement and everything in front of the fire station. Contracts are to N-Track Group. As soon as Dale gets those back, they'll get a pre-construction meeting scheduled on that project.
Where did that come in line with the estimates?
I think it was, I don't have that right in front of me, but I think it was actually pretty close to Dale's estimate, I believe.
And it was only 10,000 less than the original bid for that project.
It was 10,000.
And Dale work up there's the breakdown between village portion and the fire station portion. And then nothing, any activity out in that pen? I assume no inspections coming up anytime soon?
Nope.
All right, downtown and Main Street grant, I'm still waiting on the grant agreement, but we're pressing ahead, working on the traffic study for IDOT. Dale's working on getting the plan profile sheets and everything done for the water and sanitary sewer, because we want to get those permits into the EPA so we can get the construction permit on those. Tom sent some renderings to Chris and Rick to take a look at for the commercial building. So I think we're getting closer to some direction on the commercial building, what that's going to look like. And then the draft preliminary plat is completed. We're just kind of holding off on sending that to planning and zoning until we get at least a verbal approval from IDOT on our access locations. So.
If we could, so planning and zoning actually is gonna have to have a hearing at some point on solar. Ideally, that'd be nice if I could put both of those together. So maybe I'll touch base with you and the other ones looking forward.
Yeah, just let me know when you're planning to have that.
Okay.
We'll see if we're ready.
All right.
And then the Public Works Garage concrete driveway replacement, that bid opening is May 10th. And then the Junction Road culvert inspection and analysis, we had one of our structural engineers kind of come out and take a brief look at it. But they're getting in there. I think they're gonna, I talked to Dale, I think we're gonna have somebody out there this week, I think.
The board's not familiar with the issue. If you could maybe explain it, or Fergie can explain it. Well, he's not a civil engineer.
There's a hole in the side of the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew this.
I think it's something with the wing walls.
Yes, we noticed a hole starting on the edge of the new pavement, newer pavement that we did a couple seasons back. So what we found are the on the west side, the wing walls are actually falling in. So the hole is basically caused because the wing wall is moving. So anything you try to put in there to fill just ends up going right down into the drink. So like Matt said, I contacted the structural division, and so.
I think they're gonna take a look now at the wing walls, but just the overall structure as well. I
Then
believe.
some type of load testing maybe, or load rating or whatever as well.
Yeah, cause I think I remember from the pictures, it's been a few weeks, but I think they've got like high beams going across there, and then there's just a deck that's.
Correct. It's very similar to when we did the high road.
This is the new drainage we did under that Jason Grimes did
No,
across the road.
It's just north of
That was
that.
High Road.
I asked the exact same question. It's just north of that into a farm field.
Seeing a culvert when I pointed out to you, but I could.
It's not easy to see.
I saw one driving down the road. I brought it up.
All right,
I noticed it.
I drove right past it. Just saying, I couldn't see it.
So look at that analysis done and back to Chris and Brett, what they find out and what they're recommending for repairs. Or replacements. I'm not sure what they're.
yes.
Let's hope, let's go with, let's hope repair.
Repairs.
Safety is most important though. I don't want that collapsing in somebody.
All right, that's all I have.
All right. On the committees, Jen?
On Saturday, we had our rescheduled Easter egg hunt. For the first time ever. And Brent and I talking, Fergie, we had to go back out and pick up eggs. Because obviously it was freezing
So.
and snowing. Yeah, you had to go back out because they had had enough and walked away and left what was laying there.
The kids that were there, they made
Got a
out.
haul,
They,
yeah.
they made out like they were happy.
Their dentists will appreciate us.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, we probably had about 100 kids.
Yeah. Yeah, which is,
Normally, we usually have about 200.
Hold on, dude.
Those that were there,
we're happy.
they were had fun. We have the community blood drive on May 30th. That is gonna be, the bus again, and it's gonna be in the fire station parking lot with registration inside the fire station. And that's gonna be 2:30 to 6:30. And then we have our 6-10 days coming up on June 8th, 9th, and 10th. And on the 10th, we will have our electronic recycling and our movie in the park, which will be the 2019 version of Aladdin. Along with all of our garage sales and all that fun stuff. So I have,
All right, finance, William?
Brenda?
No ratification of emergency
All right, I
vouchers.
do have something else, actually. I was notified by the world's most amazing treasurer for a municipal government body that as of today, the hard work of this village board, the planning and preparation that she mailed off and made the final payment of our IEPA loan 6 years early,
Bravo.
which should save us, if I'm not mistaken, Drum roll.
$579,000. $600,000 basically.
there's your village hall.
For 600,000? Whoa.
William Luxick.
That's yeah.
6 years early?
That's not structurally sound. How big?
Can't wait for
We don't have to buy the land.
That might be a more- Without a concrete floor. Dirt road.
Yeah, dirt floor.
Yeah, dirt floor, pole barn. That's we're gonna give you.
Huh?
Wasn't it 1.4?
I thought it was old. I thought it was in the million we saved,
Together.
but
We would have got it paid off.
Maybe
Driving that budget, Chris.
Maybe the village engineer remembers that better than me. Do you remember what the budget was for the?
oh, for the building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have land.
We can do one at $1 million, I thought.
That was how many
Depending on
years?
where we went, and what we
Cool.
were
Then we can
building.
use
Yeah.
the 500,000 for the lookout tower.
That made of gold.
But regardless, it freed up capital
No, that's.
6 years early
Yeah, that's.
to start the equipment purchases, saved the $500,000, planning and preparation. So that's,
Yeah.
good news. So,
And
Excellent.
payments we don't have to make anymore, so there we go.
correct.
Let's just go spend it somewhere.
Apparently, on a new village
Yeah.
hall.
Good job.
Take another one.
Get another
To
car.
follow up on William's conversation here, and I just want you guys to think about this, and this is more of an emergency operations plan, and we have one for our water and our sewer. But what happens when Village Hall is gone?
You work remotely.
Brenda and I need the stuff that's here.
You mean we're gonna celebrate or what?
Well, I mean, I might.
Insurance
but-
would rebuild this,
um,
right, Brenda?
But just something to think about. We do need to, we
Or
do
like
need
the
to have a
trees.
discussion
on an
on,
emergency plan.
on an emergency plan and
Yeah,
what
we
that
can-
would.
If
entail
Village Hall was
in
hit?
terms
Well,
of The, yeah, what that would
Something
be.
Get all of our
because-
software cloud based.
Because, which most of it is, but this village does not run without Village Hall.
oh, and
Well,
we need
contrary to
replace-
you guys' belief that Fergie runs this place.
We could bring in trailers like they do in construction.
How old is this building eventually?
100.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have
Have
to
you looked at
replace
the
it.
sign on the outside?
But I don't, and William has done a great job of long-term planning, and I don't want this village to lose that when we lose William, and I want to be able to set aside a chunk of money. each
We have all the confidence in the
cover
world.
The Village Hall.
You're supposed to preface that with all due respect.
Put you in the garage or
Exactly.
the shed.
It's the,
Because then you can say anything.
I-
It's in the Geneva Convention.
All right, I do have one other thing, and this is hopefully will trigger the attorney's memory. Dan has been working with the attorneys for the Safanda property just north of the 10 acres where we got the Osland grant for. They were trying to work through me. I directed them to Dan and he tries to keep me in the loop, but there's a lot of legalese in here, so I'll get to the point. They've tried to streamline the closing process for the property. Problem is there is a covenant or a stipulation from the Mormons or the Church of Latter-day Saints on the property next door that has the right of first refusal. That's the first issue. The Safandas or Chuck and Roy
Yeah.
have a letter dating from 2002 that the church has surrendered their opinion or surrendered their position on the right of first refusal, and the title company will insure us above that language. That's the first thing. So we're good there. However, there is a secondary development standards covenant in the agreement that says, and I think I might get this wrong, but if we were to improve the property that we are purchasing, we would be obligated to improve the farmland next door. And that includes municipal sanitary sewer, municipal water, underground storm sewer, on-site stormwater detention, concrete, sidewalk, concrete curb gutters, asphalt, concrete, and streetlights.
Okay, almost.
I knew I would.
So when Roy bought the property from the LDS, they had their own plans for the property to the west that they retained. In order to protect those plans, they put certain development requirements on the property we would be purchasing for any development,
Tucked it or LDS?
LDS.
Okay.
And those items are exactly as you said, municipal, underground municipal sanitary sewer, water, storm, and other things. Some of these things may make sense if you're gonna, if, I don't know what your plans exactly are for that I know it's to expand the park facility, but I don't know if you have specific facility plans on that property. What?
Not that much.
Immediately, I don't
No.
believe any. I think if anything, the village would end up putting earth material on it
Okay.
that would come out of the park. And then if I'm speaking out of turn here, at best, we will put down a gravel-based parking lot.
I believe
start with.
the
That's
Ozark
okay.
grant is
Y-
the Ozark grant that we submitted, our proposal did state that we would use parking and for land.
Okay, if you are gonna do it with parking, you can't not do, based on these development standards that they've put on the deed. You would not be able to do gravel. You would have to do concrete curb and gutter.
What's the
So as of
stipulations?
now, we can just use it as a dirt field.
You could use it.
Be fine.
Yes, because that wouldn't be development. That'd just be staging and
Right.
storage.
We do, I mean, the way I interpreted the email was we have the ability to go back and request to have this removed, but it would.
You can. That's true.
Who would we be dealing with at that point?
LDS.
How'd they get this?
possible?
Oh, because they owned the land originally.
Yeah. And they're the beneficiaries of those restrictions.
So,
Yes.
let's say we put a parking lot on it, paved it, put gutters in it or whatever else, that doesn't mean you have to improve the road, right?
No, this would just be for the on-site improvements only.
So
So if you're talking about the road adjacent to the property?
Yeah, I'm talking about that dirt road that runs on the other side.
No,
That's a
They
township road.
own both
Alright.
properties.
So all we'd really have to do is put a parking lot that was paved with gutters and whatever.
And what could they do to us if we didn't?
So
okay, so if you didn't do it, there's no forfeiture, so you wouldn't lose the property. But they could sue us in court under what's known as specific performance to require us to do the improvements as listed in the deed restriction.
So is there a stipulation that says we put in a gravel parking lot? Is there a stipulation in the amount of time we have before we have to have an asphalt or curb and gutter?
It is immediate with, the restrictions are triggered the minute you start moving dirt to do improvements on the property.
How soon would we even remotely be putting a parking lot?
You wouldn't.
In there, like, I mean, we're talking
Oh,
a
wow.
couple years until this project, that would be the last part of this project, kind of, right?
No,
No.
no.
Wouldn't be
I
the
don't,
last-
I would not.
But you're talking.
I would do next summer.
Out for bid this fall, early spring, and project completed next
So
spring.
all the,
And part of the deal with the Oslad is not only do we have to purchase it within a timely fashion, we have to make it park space within a timely fashion.
park space.
It's gonna be parking and fields.
dirt on there, yeah. It has to be.
We can't keep it as a farm. We can't purchase it with the Oslad grant and keep it as a farm field is my understanding.
Yeah.
Matt might know better than me on the, speaking on.
You have to
Oslad, but
develop
My
it.
understanding of the Oslad,
Not-
is we
not
can't just
develop it,
purchase the
or
land and
what
let it
park-
sit. We have to then use it for its purpose.
Well, it's just turning it into the park, right?
Right,
Yes.
So.
soccer field,
Yeah, so if we seeded
no
it.
development.
I mean, that would be it, fine then, right? Like, that would be part of our.
Quick grade and seed.
Right?
How long, in your opinion, David, would it take to try to have that language removed?
6 months, you know, with the back and forth. I don't know what it's like to deal with the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Could we secure the property and then attempt to have it removed after ownership?
You could do that.
But then if you.
Worst thing is they say no, and we put a
Still have to
parking
do
lot
that,
in with
yeah.
curb and gutter.
Yeah, right.
Worst comes to worst,
Yeah.
you turn it into soccer fields and you don't have parking there, but I don't see what's the problem with paving a parking lot?
Nothing at all.
I don't have any issue with that at all.
Well, no, yes.
It adds a lot.
Do you have to do all of these? Or can
That's,
you do
that's
some of
really, see that,
because
Dan and I were-
sanitary
so
sewer,
this is-
water, that's a.
Well, you're not putting that in.
I'd love to tell you that the
Parking.
language was clear as day on
I know.
this issue, but it's
But
not.
it says, if the village purchases the property, the covenant would require the village
Yep.
to cause any development of the property to incorporate the following elements. That could be construed as we have to do all of these.
Well, okay, so the counter argument to that is, and again, this was not the most artfully drafted condition. But the counter argument to that is, look, it's just surface parking. We'll do the paved surface, the curb and gutter, everything that makes
Right.
sense. We're willing to undertake. All this other stuff, municipal sanitary sewer, water, all that doesn't make any sense.
It's not in the scope of the project.
It's
anyway.
it's not within the scope of the project. If the scope of the project should increase, intensify on the property, and it would trigger some of these things where it would make sense as part of the site engineering and everything, we will certainly do them this way. That's the counter approach. That's a reasonable approach. And I think that is a good argument to take to court if we had to go that far.
I don't disagree that it's not unreasonable to put in asphalt curb and gutter.
Right.
Sure.
However, you're gonna come in off of a chipstone road, down a gravel road to an asphalt road, but that's.
I understand, but that's, you know,
My suggestion would be that we proceed forward and then after take ownership, you would direct the attorney to try to get this
Right.
removed.
I totally agree with that.
And if not, then you put in asphalt
Asphalt,
curb and.
right.
And you let them argue the lack of need for water, sanitary
Right.
sewer and everything else.
Right.
But their position on us putting that in is there, even if we put that in, there's nothing that says we would ever have to let them connect to it in the first place. So what's, right? There's nothing.
Well, they could come back with the point that, you know, the reason why we put the underground utility requirements in there is we have plans ultimately to develop
West.
the west parcel.
But we don't have.
And
to
there's
let them
already
connect.
water close to that and sewer on Lincoln.
Is there?
But you have
How
to
far
let
does
them
sewer go on
connect.
Lincoln?
All the way to the end.
Yeah.
And that's their property.
Yeah, water.
Okay, so they already have it.
Yeah,
Yeah, going that way.
On the
just
other
be
end.
Lincoln.
on the front end. I mean, take Lincoln down. It's on the. front.
Actually, if you get a hold of somebody, ask them to sell us the land on the west end of the park, because we just want to put the road through anyways.
They own both those.
But David, I guess my question was, if we own the water and sewer and put it in, we're not required to let anybody hook to it. We don't have to let anybody hook to it if we don't want to.
Well, right, this
They
is
don't
all,
pay anything.
presumably this was put in 2002.
Was-
When Safanda purchased it from LDS. Because LDS had an idea of what they wanted to do with that west parcel, something that apparently has never happened, but they wanted to know that there'd be utilities at the property line that they could connect to. But you're right, it
We don't
doesn't
have to.
obligate a connection.
Although we've already put.
Water on 72 stops at the hydrant across the
Yeah,
street from
Public
the
Works Building.
Public Works building. So it's close.
So their
Public
connection
sewer's
fee,
there.
Well, we did put sewer there, you're right.
Sewer's
At the
down.
end of Lincoln.
So their
Well, that pro-
connection
that
fee
west
could be our
property that-
We've
cost.
already improved their property.
We
for them.
have.
Hold on, there's too much. But
So
I'm
we,
sorry.
we could argue the fact, when we go to argue the fact, we say we've got sewer already to the
Mhm.
east edge of your property. We've got water very close to the east edge of your property, very connectable. They could just run it. I mean, if they need it, they could run it there and connect.
Yeah.
So we could at least bring that along and say.
Yeah.
And sell us the other 14 acres.
Yes.
Steve, how much, would this betterment cost us?
A lot.
engineer, how much would it cost?
Whip the calculator. out,
I'm just an
Matt.
attorney.
Somebody have a calculator for Matt? I wanna watch these buttons.
No,
You go back to your
no,
calculator.
the argument is gonna be from junction to the west end of the parks, down utility.
Dave, how can we tie this property up?
I think he might be talking about.
Wait, hold on. I'm a lot of talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dave, how can we tie this property up? Because if we try to buy it and we can't do what we want with it, it's gonna be, you know, a dead,
Well, that's
slow
a
walk.
legitimate position and that's something for the board to consider that.
When-
Are these encumbrances on the title, which obligate you to do certain things? maybe walking away from the deal altogether is the best approach because we don't want to be obligated this way. That's certainly something for the board to
Yeah.
consider.
No.
Just move
Um,
forward with like William said.
So everybody's aware, this is what was submitted for the Oslet grant, this purchase property.
Talk about fluff.
So what, all right, so what are we looking at, Sandy?
Practice field, parking, and then a dog park or something of those on the other end.
Soccer field.
Well, that still doesn't look like it's a gravel parking lot.
No,
So.
Yeah, that looks really nice. So I think that looks like we're already exceeding expectations.
that's,
Minus
that's what we submitted, so that.
electric.
Square parking lot,
Yeah.
square fields.
Well, and
Yes.
you priced that plan out for the purposes of establishing the
Yes.
grant amount, so. Remind me, what was the grant amount?
600, that, well.
600,
the
yeah.
agreement-
100,000.
So
No.
the project, so phase 2 is 1.2.
Okay.
We received 600,000.
Okay.
The grant that we received, the
For the land.
Oslak
Oh.
grant,
It's
Yeah.
it's only 100,000
Hold on,
Oh, okay.
hold
for the
on.
purchase. Can you
There's
put the
two-
GIS map up?
Yeah, with the first grant.
There's two grants. So the
Yes.
first one's for 100,000.
We're still on the purchase grant.
And then we have one, that development I showed you is a part of phase 2, which is another grant a secondary Oslet grant we received.
So we didn't.
Oslad grant is a 50% match up to the appraised value of 100,000. That's
Okay.
correlates to this property.
But that's not contingent upon any improvements, just using it as parks.
Right. That's just a purchase.
Correct.
Okay.
Number two is where you would have to. do-
That's when we start doing the fancy.
6 from them, 6 from us,
Flu.
2.2.
And I know that we were joking, but do we want to really consider the purchasing of the offer if we're gonna contact them anyways?
Absolutely. If you got an opportunity to buy the west end of that
Just throwing it
park,
out there.
We-
buy it.
You guys have been talking about this for a very long
Right.
time.
Because it connects all the way from
Yes.
lot 5.
You look-
It connects all the way from lot 5 all the way right here.
So I mean, if we're gonna contact them and go through all this effort anyways, it just makes sense to
I'll
go all the way
No, William asked me
Oh,
for.
I think
something.
Bill wants to.
and then figure out how to make this work.
Hold on, Bill, let me figure out
Okay.
what William's looking
Right.
at here.
what we were looking at, what parcel is.
This part right here.
No,
No, that's
If you reach that, I come down.
the other,
Oh,
Right there. So it's gonna be from this corner.
no, it's
no,
not.
the blue
From
line.
here to here.
No, it's here. They have to repin it.
Mhm.
They have to repin it because of this.
They don't-
It's an L
It's gonna
shape.
go all the way to here. It has to.
They can't, they don't currently own
They
it.
don't, well, they
According
did.
to them, they do. They said that the county map is wrong.
Well, we better know what we're buying.
Yeah.
Here.
Do we have a legal description?
Think, give me 1 second.
So then, all right, I'll scroll up. Answer your question, Nate,
Is the 11 point. That one.
is if
Highlight.
you can hold them, if they're willing to sell that, this village absolutely needs to purchase that.
Yeah,
It connects.
If it's at a reasonable price, I would.
yeah, let's, yeah.
Because that would need a.
How many acres
Like
is
that.
that?
But
Well, with the little L shape at the top, 11.56.
I'm saying what LDS owns.
It looks about
11.56,
similar,
yeah.
yeah.
2-3 terms.
They also own that whole lot to the west of that.
And how long have they owned that?
We'll talk about that later.
They won't.
Well, it could be going back to the
Many years.
1800s, because we've dealt with LDS property before in the area, and it does go back to like the 1880s.
Really?
They don't know where God's gonna come.
I didn't know that.
Chuck is adamant that that is
Hey, that's-
not an accurate depiction of the
Okay.
property.
He is.
Okay.
Okay, well, send us his title. I mean, well, I guess we have his.
Well, we're
Wash feet at a
purchasing
time.
something that he
Hold on.
thinks is that big, and if it's not that big, then we need to not pay that much.
It's that big.
Okay, I know trustee Motisi has a question or comment.
Yeah, yes, I do. Thanks, Dave.
It's killing you, isn't it?
Bringing up the right of eminent domain with the government's rights. Can't we take possession of a property, pay them later, handle it later? And they have to, because it's gonna be for the betterment of our community. It'd be for all the residents and everything else. It stands in, if they should cooperate with us because they're standing in the way of progress and we need that to move on.
We need that, like, we need a hole in it.
Well-
What do you think?
Well, here's the thing. What the courts will look at if we went the eminent domain route, and that's a very political decision that you would have to make, is Did you in good faith try to purchase it first?
Yes,
We have.
Well,
They haven't yet, Bill.
I know.
They
but-
already
right-
agreed to sell it,
when-
right.
so it's a moot point.
And,
One on the left.
and it, Safanda, keep in mind, Safanda took the property with these conditions on it. He can't remove them. They run, they're known as conditions that run with the land.
Yes,
So, you know, our situation is that if we decided to say these conditions are too much and they just would really frustrate our purposes for wanting the property in the first place, and then we condemned, that might not play real well in court.
well, okay. Say we don't want to condemn it just to get control of the property. Say we want to come up with a specific use for utilities that we need to run this village and to expand this village. How would that play?
Well, so long as you follow the requirements of with the underground stuff, which you would do anyway. I mean, these are just all hypotheticals at this
Right.
point. I think we have a good position to go with that, like our purposes for the property are pretty limited. And insofar as these conditions make sense related to what we want to do with the property, we're going to follow those. I think that's a strong position for us to take.
I agree with William's statement though, as we buy the property, we go in afterwards, ask them to remove that, but we
Yeah.
show to them that
No, I think
there's
it's fine.
sewer at their property and water's very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
again,
got two things I gotta say.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Dave.
I have to.
yes.
I have to. Bill, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. First of all, nobody has mentioned eminent domain of this property or any property around that. So I feel very strongly that you even say that. But I make that statement to make this statement. When we tried doing the TIF district,
Yes,
you went up and down the community accusing this board of trying to circumvent legal processes and institute eminent domain against residents' private homes, which was 100% a false and accusatory statement against me and every other sitting board member for you to go stir up the public and claim that we were trying to eminent domain and take people's homes, which was 100% a false statement that you were using for political personal gain. And then to turn around after you've been elected and then attempt to try to use eminent domain. I find that to be unethical and very immoral.
I
That's all I'm
find
gonna
it highly unethical and immoral on your part to say something like this. I did not go against eminent domain because it was depriving people, only because it was depriving people of not being educated as to what the village was gonna do and what politicians were gonna do. It was not for personal gain. I don't know where you come up with this stuff. That was not true.
yeah.
And I
Topic.
And I was not going out raising hell and telling people untrue things. People were coming to me and asking me about their rights and their privileges and the sanctions that they were faced with. So I totally object to this phraseology and accusations that you're making. And you will know, when I talked to David tonight, I said, can we take this and make sure that it's fair for everybody and that we have a good right and a good reason to improve this land, to obtain this land, and so that this village can properly grow.
So where are we now with the whole deal? I assume we're trying to buy. the
It
property.
seems like the consensus I've heard,
Move forward.
notwithstanding anything else, is that you want to purchase the property and then we'll engage them in a conversation to see if they'll relax or completely remove
Right.
these restrictions.
And when you
Under
do
a
that,
mutual agreement.
Under a
among
mutual
yourself.
agreement, yeah.
There is no eminent domain going on.
Done.
Thank you.
and
Just
when
touch
we,
this bill.
and when we contact the Latter-day Saints, maybe to see if they're wanting to sell their property there.
Oh, yeah.
Do we need something to make a motion to like have that conversation?
No, we're already in the process
Okay.
of, yeah, no.
Good.
Just One other thing you should just be aware of, you are taking it subject to property taxes, but it's not expected that those are gonna be significant since it's vacant land.
Got it.
Rick, do
He
you?
mentioned that to me and I said that was okay.
It's,
Yep.
it's
Thank you. Wanna
farmland.
know what-
Property
what-
taxes on farmland are
Yeah, right.
extremely
Yep.
low.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
No, I just want to know, do you want, I can send you a cost estimate for getting the water and sewer down to the west property line?
No.
Just-
Let us wait. We're not there.
No, I just think we'll be able to tell them that, you know, part of their thing was that they wanted water and sewer there so they could develop that property to the west. Whatever plans they had, we can show them that at least the sewer's extremely close and the water's a few hundred feet away.
So when do we see us taking ownership of that?
Within 30 days.
Perfect time.
We were trying to. No, I was being selfish.
They
Trying
want
to get it
to,
done
they
before
want to
lunch.
sell it. I mean, they're kind of on a fast track on their side. And again, we've been talking to them for what,
Yeah.
like 10 years?
Right.
Correct.
Is the land up by the highway still Wellness good too? If they're happy to want to sell.
We're not in the real estate business.
Are we, you now?
I don't know where we're at this point. I don't know.
We can direct attorneys to proceed forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would concur.
Yes.
So that was fun.
All right.
Anybody else's head hurt now?
Yeah.
Yeah. you're
Oh, you
still-
have more, William?
Go on you, William.
That enough?
No.
Dave, you're
I'll have
gonna,
more next week.
You better become a whole lot more entertaining next week.
Wait,
Dave, you're gonna explore all the options and go over them so that we can do the best we can to secure this land and make everybody a winner.
absolutely.
Chicken dinner.
He goes by David.
David,
Yes, David.
what did I say?
For the last
Dave.
20 years.
Dave?
it's been Dave.
Yeah.
17?
Yeah.
David.
That's enough. Okay.
Come on, Billy, call me.
All right. Ordinance enforcement bill,
Say that again?
you.
What? Oh, okay.
Welcome to the meeting.
Welcome to the meeting.
Channel one.
Oh, Lord.
Just the,
Your lead.
a reasonable request for the people living in the area on Junction Road with these, with the traffic that's going there. I wish that the residents would pay a little, not the residents, but the people driving up and down the road, I guess that's residents too, would be a little more observant of our stop signs, our speeds, and the noise that some of these automobiles make. I know that the sheriff's been out there a little more, and some people may get a ticket when they are committing a traffic violation. So I wish they would just take heed and make life a little happier for all of us and safer. Thank you.
Those aren't the only stop
'Cause it's
signs
on
that they need to learn to
property.
stop at. It's
Hey,
everywhere.
what's that? No, they're doing it all over.
It's right
That's
there.
what I.
Oh,
The Wellness-
yeah.
There's not-
Anything further, Bill?
But
Stop
yeah,
sign.
but that's quite a straightaway there.
Pay for it, you can.
Anything further, Bill?
No,
John?
that's it.
As we know, we got our doors blown off across the street during the storm. This is basically a resolution to replace those doors because of the tornado damage. That being said, I'll make a motion for resolution number 23-21, a resolution approving and authorizing execution of quote from Rayner for purchase and installation of 2 doors for well number 2. Tornado damage is the reason for this purchase.
Second.
John makes a motion to approve resolution number 23-21. Chris seconds. Is there any discussion on replacing the 2 doors at well 2?
We're gonna put the same kind of doors on there.
Mhm.
Yes.
So you'll see in the board packet, I actually put the other quote in there for 17,000, but unless we put in all new doors,
that's
we
right,
had to
'cause
go to
it's
Rayner to
insurance.
get the, yeah, so we had to go
Right.
to the company that made the door to get the door.
They worked flawlessly till the tornado. Roll call.
John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
7:54. Still you, John.
On another note, I picked up one of Bill's loose dogs on the street tonight and the dog collar on the back had a phone number, which I thought was a very good idea for the residents that are still too scared to come and get a village tag. And thanks to Sandy, we were able to reunite Oscar with his family. And
Oscar was out about 3 or 4 days ago as well.
Well, due to a shortage of fence panels in the storm, you know, the little bugger's finding his way. So keep your eyes out for Oscar and give me a holler. I'll let you know where he goes.
I
Cute
didn't-
little dog. Taco's a little jealous now. Moving on to what?
Chris just said we have tags. Yes, I'd like to take this moment to remind everybody that the village does have free dog tags. All you have to do is come down to Village Hall. We prefer a photo of your dog if you've got it. If not, your phone number, your address, and what the dog looks like, and we will give you a tag for free. It helps us when we pick them up so that we don't have to try and read a chip if they've got them.
Make sure you spay or neuter your pets.
Sorry, I've been here.
Bob Barker signing off.
I think Sandy and I originated that like 15 years ago.
I believe.
Glad to have you on board, Chris. Our money's in safety.
Boy, I missed this.
We have it up tonight for you.
I'm not.
We just get Dan sitting over there looking all serious.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip down unfinished business. Letter number G is in George. Sandy and I have started the Zoom calls on getting some estimates from, will be a total of 4 different companies. We'll have the original company we have and 3 additional. So look for that in your board packets, the weekend before the 9th. We will come with a recommendation on the 9th, but certainly you can go through all 4, but we'll bring our recommendation on the 9th so we can start moving forward with the website. This is one of those things you have to redevelop the whole website because the content with the way we have it set up now with the current company, you have to start new. So it's coming. That's it.
Chris?
We have discussion of the possible award of the Junction Roads and Edson Road chip seal projects. The Helm Civil in the amount of 62,449.50 or 70. Do we need a motion for that?
You do. So your
Oh.
motion would be to
I-
award the. Junction.
Yes, I make a motion to award the Junction Road and Edson Road chip seal project to Helm Civil in the amount of $62,449.07.
I'll second, Chris.
Chris makes a motion to award the Junction Road Edson Chip Seal Project to Helm Civil in the amount of $62,449.70. John seconds. Any discussion on that motion?
This between
Mm-hmm.
here and
Well, the
Edson?
junction is there's an A2 cover for the, I don't want to call it South Junction, but for the Junction Road portion where we had the paving done by the state.
South
Yep.
or south of Oakland.
oh, this is South Junk.
Was both. It's
Okay.
both Edson and Junction. So it's
Okay.
where they put in the new,
So it's not up north.
it's part of that is
2 separate sections of the
Yep,
project.
2 separate
Good
sections.
to know now.
So they're just gonna seal over the
Yeah, they'll,
weird thing that's over
Yep.
there?
and I think that's.
Will that fix it? Like, cause it's like, I don't know, like,
Will they fix
It-
it? The sides were coming apart, which is why because of the heavy traffic from the states.
So this one is.
Yeah,
this'll even it all out, right, over there, or should?
that's how it's supposed to work. Yep.
Yeah, it does provide a slight leveling of,
It'll get better.
but not.
Well, that's when I'm like concerned. If this isn't like we're not repaving the top.
No,
of this
no,
thing.
it's
This is
still-
just getting a little spritz on top
It's-
of it.
Oil and gravel.
So like.
It's still a chip seal, but it'll keep that.
Now you know why we're not going into the streets.
Hold on.
I see why now.
That they paved, the paved asphalt.
Oh, what was
down,
here, this-
cracking
sure.
up, and coming apart. So it basically shores up the sides of our road. So that
That's a lot of theater over there.
it'll be smoother and level. That's the whole.
Davis Johnson, your permit has been denied because of the lack of definition of spritz
Spritz.
in your permit application.
Could be a glossary of
You
terms.
should see the machine that does this.
The only way to fix it would be to core it out, replace the base, put in an actual asphalt with a crown, not happening too much. And then
I'll be later on.
Instead, we're just gonna
There was
spend
a
like.
bridge bottle.
Well, I just want to make sure that we're not gonna exaggerate the weird noise that road gives. You're
It's going to be one surface now instead of two, but you're still gonna probably have a little bit of a dip in the center, but it'll be one
Nate,
material
then
across.
just turn up the radio if you hear the noise.
Oh, so, I mean, it's just, it catches you off guard. Now I'm used to it. I don't even hear it. but
Tar
like-
and chipstone, that crappy crap.
All right.
It's like when you keep going south on Junction, it'll be just like that. It's once it's worn down and into it, but it'll
Well-
keep the sides of the road short up.
Okay.
Hopefully, right?
Hopefully.
I accept this answer.
I would much prefer to have a paved road.
Right.
You
Spritz,
just-
huh?
Yeah.
Makes my life easy. And with this. project.
Got it, Nate?
How long we're
Chris,
going
you
already?
done?
And do you want a roll call? on
Need a
this?
roll
Yeah, we'll do roll call now.
Oh,
since
we
we're-
don't do it.
Okay, so
Just
we're
gonna
going
go
to
first.
do a roll call on the motion to award the bid. Nathan,
Not spritzing.
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes,
John.
Yes.
8 o'clock even. Anything further, Chris?
I got anything further, Fergie?
I do not think so, Chris. Thank you.
Nope.
Spritzmeister?
Probably good. I don't have anything to.
Hydrant flushing this week if you haven't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything on economic development
Be a full flush.
other than what Matt covered?
Trying to fish out of town or what?
Yes.
yes.
Maybe it's you.
Bill?
I went to the Economic Development Partnership meeting on the 13th, April 13th.
You see it?
Brenda?
Brenda went.
You guys ride together?
Yeah,
Would've been
what?
fun.
Brenda talked about it earlier.
That doesn't mean anything to me. I'm right
Obviously.
there on my part. I want to let people know. You know, the more information we get, the better.
Brenda's is accurate.
Please share.
What did you say?
I don't remember, Bill.
You don't?
No.
Oh, okay,
Please share, Bill.
okay.
Well, it's getting
Anyway,
shorter.
okay. They are moving along and it's a work in progress and, on the 13th, they had, see, Chris Manheim had the, guest, speaker there, Chad, the chancellor, of the Next Move group. And, he was talking about roles of the elected officials and staff and also the roles that the, private partnership people have to take. And there seems to be a lot of give and take, back and forth with the private people trying to worry about their certain information and intelligence that they have for their companies that they don't want to let out too much until they're all set because they're worried about the competition and things like that. So, and then of course, government wants to move forward and do what we can. And we all don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. So that's, let's see what else. So they're going to try to move forward on stuff like that. And let's see, and they talk, let's see here, some of the,
Yeah.
Wow.
what is all this? I can't hear. I can't hear.
I'm just curious why you didn't bring this up when Brenda was talking about it earlier.
Well, I don't want to step on Brenda's toes.
I feel it was
He's
an open
talking,
conversation.
I couldn't bring it up in economic, I mean, only
Keep going,
in the
Bill.
economic development. And, and also in ordinance enforcement, that's a separate committee,
They're delicate toes.
I know.
So
Keep
we
going,
both
Bill.
went there and we both, got separate information and, a lot of talk about intellectual property of the private, of businesses. That seems to be a very big issue. They're also concerned, who's whistling? Who's whistling? John, you got a whistle? What's happening? I'm not accusing you, I'm asking you. Did you whistle?
No.
Nobody whistled.
Well,
Sounded like
the whistle I
outside.
heard, huh?
Sounded
In my
like a
mind?
sign, Actually.
Come on, let's not be rude, people.
Nobody whistled.
I'm trying to get along with everybody and sometimes it's very, it's very difficult. Counselor, do you have anything to add to this that, I'm just trying to say, and the diplomacy and the decorum that, huh? Did you see what I'm putting
Was he there
up
too?
with, okay?
Come on, Dave.
Yes, thanks, very, very much.
All right, who's next?
I am an unfinished business.
Unfinished business.
All right. So I mentioned to you guys a few weeks ago that I had not heard back from the contract changes that Mark had suggested for the other IT company. They just haven't been communicating with me. It went to their attorney and that was kind of where it stalled. I got an update that said they'd still get back to me and nothing. During that time, I mentioned that one of the other companies I originally reached out to that we currently do some work with had said that they have found the block time is no longer viable for their business interests. And so they are moving over to the all-inclusive as well. So I said, give me a quote, tell me what it is. And so the company we currently work with, the CMJ, they came back and quoted the all-inclusive at 17,000 a year, which is about 1,000 less. And that's all-inclusive for everything during business hours. And that is not new stuff. So new equipment or new programs, those would be additional on an hourly rate for weekends and nights, but he said the chances of those are always slim to none in their business field. So I didn't know if you guys were interested in me also moving forward potentially with that quote. It is in your packet. They did quote the IT services and the Microsoft separately, but the 17,000 is them together.
Is the all inclusive? Is it work they've done in their scope of practice already?
Yeah.
So they're not learning anything new or trying to.
No, and they currently do some of our IT work on the side. This is the one company that we've currently been buying block time from. And I just dismissed them because you guys had said you were not interested in block time. That's how we've been dealing with them for our needs now. And he reached out to me for like a month ago and said that they're switching their practice over to the all-inclusive. And I was like, actually funny, that's what I was looking for. So I did ask for them for a quote, but seeing as I cannot get communication from the other company at this point, I gotta have somebody. I'm running out of time here
Or-
and eventually our license is.
Just
gonna-
bring us your recommendation. I'm comfortable with.
All right, then if you guys don't mind, I'll have Mark look at the contract and make sure there's nothing in there that he has any changes to. When I talked to the company today, they said, if there are any changes, just let them know right away. So.
Yeah.
All right, then that's what I'll do. And then I'll bring it back potentially on the 9th for approval then.
We're busy night.
LR, weren't they out at the tower today?
Yes, they were doing a climb for some equipment and stuff out there, but I have not heard anything from them. I gave them all the information that they asked for and that was the last I had heard.
Yeah, but their lease goes on for a long time.
It does, it goes till 20. Maybe not that long.
It's a couple of years.
Yeah, they got a few more years before their lease expires.
And next week we could talk about the placement of the sign in the front. I need to talk to our, what do you call her?
Erica, our administrative assistant?
Yes, thank you. Our administrative assistant on the quote she got before I bring it to the board.
And then I believe also on the unfinished business, the window replacement Dan sent down to the state and the 30 days should be up soon. So hopefully on the 9th, we'll also approve the ordinance on the window permits.
It's gonna be busy night.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything on unfinished business?
Swear in too, as I said, it's a swearing in. What'd you say, Rick?
If anybody else has anything on unfinished business? Public?
Next week will be my last meeting. That's why I'll be here the following.
Were you needing a parting gift? Okay, good.
If everyone can attend, that would probably be enough.
I got my gift.
That's true, you did.
I mean, I would appreciate it to be graved or
You got
something,
Jack.
whatever.
We get him a cake, Sandy? What kind of cake you want?
Glenda, did you have anything?
I didn't want to interrupt the other people, but no, I do not.
David, do we really know, go into closed session or can we just say that we're waiting for them to take action first?
You could say that.
All right, let's do that.
Okay.
We're waiting for the county to take action on anything involving the audit,
The two
The two
items. yeah.
the
resolutions.
two resolutions that were under David. We can avoid closed session that way. Okay.
This rowdy crowd.
We don't have to reconvene open session. We don't take possible action on anything.
Make a motion
To adjourn?
to adjourn.
Second.
Nathan makes a motion to adjourn. John seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Nate,
Adjourn to 8:09.
I'd say just about 13.